All right, here we are, another week around the trash fire. Your host Matthias, along with the boy.
John.
Well, John. GW's news has been pretty light. It's been so light that we haven't even been doing some shows.
Yeah, it's not too much in the 40K front to talk about.
The Warhammer
Epic's
front
getting
at
stuff,
all.
but it's like drip feed, and honestly, like I'm not too critical of the mechanics of the game. I mean, the rules update they release is nice, but um, a lot of the articles are just like not necessarily things I don't care about, but I kind of don't care in the sense of like I'm hyped for it anyway, so I don't, like the not really a mechanical thing, but they talk about the size of the minis compared to old Epic. It's like, yeah, I know it's bigger. I don't need. It's not really, to me. That's not really news. But
Mm.
they have been talking a lot about this, and with the August launch, this is imminent, more or less. So, yeah,
Well, considering it is the 1st of August as of right now.
yep. So at the very least, it's going to be a release next or 2 weeks from now, but we'll see. Trying to paint my Blizzard Force so when it's time for launch, I could just go ham on the hobby for Epic.
Mm.
But yeah, otherwise, not really a lot of 40K news. Even AOS, it's just waiting for the Cities of Sigma release. I mean, New Model Monday is kind of whatever.
Yeah, well,
There isn't a
it's
lot of model
very
month.
quiet on the
Yeah,
GW front.
but yeah,
Oh, we might as well get into it. So, we're going to start off where we always start off. That'll be the Sunday preview. So, what do we got? We're getting the Night Lancer in plastic, finally coming.
$200.
$200?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. That's a lot of money for
Yeah,
something that's not too good. Oh well, in 30K at least.
yeah, and 30K, it's whatever. I mean, it's a big model. I have a Atropos, which is a different variant of this knight, and it's pretty big, but again, like I mentioned on the cast before, I'm not really too excited about this as a 30K player because knights just aren't that good as an allied thing for your Space Marines or for your Mechanicum. They're much better as their own army. So good for the knight players that want a Lancer.
Yes. So that's coming around. Whopping $200 for that. Underworld, we're getting that Skaven team that was showed off a while ago, coming solo. So if you want to pick up some pretty cool looking Plague Monks, now's your chance. As well as the cards, which whatever. Necromunda, they showed this guy off last week. We didn't have a show to talk about it, but Necromunda finally getting a new model after a while, really. They've gone kind of dark ever since the build up to 10th edition has been rolling up. But we got another squat character here and a little robot pal of his. It's a pretty cool looking model.
Yeah. Yeah, if you play squats in Necromunda, it's a instant purchase, I think.
It's got character, and you know what? That's the most I can say about it. It's like a little dwarf tech marine.
There you go.
Little Wally buddy. Yep, that's coming around. Black Library giving us the Fall of Cadia Mega Limited Edition. So if you want to add to your collection of fancy Warhammer books, here's another limited edition mega book of Fall of Cadia.
So I'm pretty excited about this because this is a new novel about the Fall of Cadia, because we haven't really seen the Fall of Cadia in novel form as an event. We've only seen it in the Gathering Storm stuff, which, is it's presented as a very matter-of-fact encyclopedic form, where this happens and this happens, etc., etc. While this is a novel, so you get to dive into the characters and their POVs and all that. But it's kind of annoying that you can only currently get it as a mega limited edition thing. You can't just get the regular novel, which is a pain in the butt.
That'll come out the week
Like,
after.
I hope so, because they haven't really said when the regular one's coming out, as far as I know. But I mean, this is a cool little thing. There's a lot of cool stuff in it. I'm tempted to pick it up, but I'm not a fan enough of Cadia. I mean, it might have some cool Black Legion stuff, but even then, like the book itself isn't, or the limited edition itself isn't very Black Legion centric. It's obviously very Imperial Guard centric, and the author is a good one, from what I have heard with his other books, Robert Rath. But yeah, great new novel about a very pivotal moment in Warhammer. However, only available currently as a super limited edition, and that's it. So, yeah.
2 weeks. 2 weeks is when the book will come out. Guarantee.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Yep, that's coming around. I'm getting another Caiaphas Cain book. I'll look forward to buying that, audio-wise. Anthology book, Caiaphas Cain. We got The Long Shot. Not familiar with this one.
Looks like another guard novel.
It is another guard novel. It looks like has something to do with Tau Empire. So, see how that plays out. For Glory and Honor, paperback. Casterkin coming out as well. We're also getting the audiobook, The Emperor's Gift, the ADB book.
That's a great one.
Yep, we're getting that. We're getting books translated into other languages. Warhammer Plus. We are getting Battle Report of the Death Guard and a Lore Master of the Gnarl Wood. And that's that. That is all that is coming out this week. So again, pretty slow, but you know, they're prepping for that epic this month, so we have more of that to talk about. But in other news, we've also got some news gameplay knowledge, or hints, I should say, of the old world. Say the more things change, the more they stay the same. So it just goes into not super detail, obviously, but just how a few things are going to be working and how a few things have changed. Breaking the enemy. It looks like you now won't just automatically flee in terror if you lose the battle, or lose one round of combat. Looks like
that's a big change.
That is a big change, because killing a bunch of orcs or humans, and then because you have 3 ranks, you outnumber, blah blah blah, and let's say they only lost like 5 people, they just run away, and then you could just run those people down. Now it looks like you can just slightly get pushed back. It'll be a push and pull mechanic in terms of how this will work. I mean, they'll still break and flee.
Yeah, I think from what I read from it, you could still break and flee, but it's going to be harder. Like what Matt said, you won't just see a turn 2 charge into a block, and then you kill 5 guys, and then the unit breaks and flees. More likely, they'll just inch up a bit, but if charge a unit and you flank it, and then you got terror and all that, then I can imagine they'll probably break and flee. But it won't just be like a common thing to run by an easy dice roll. So I do like this change. I think, as much as I like the whole charge cavalry into unit, break and flee, it kind of made games really swingy, and I feel that if it was just a slight push or pull, then that might be a better gameplay experience. And also, again, you could still make them break and flee. It's just you just gotta apply more units and stuff. So yeah, I am like, happy about this change.
I don't know. My greatest game of fantasy was breaking a Chaos Army in 2 turns, where I just charged the side of a Chaos Warriors. You know, since it's a side charge, I negate the ranks. I did enough damage. They flee, and then they just kept running through all their allies, causing them to. Well, I mean, he was rolling really poor for a leadership test, like super high, and all those units broke, and then he just said, "I give up." And that was my best fantasy game I ever played. And then I immediately got wrecked the next turn, or the next game, because it was a tournament.
There you go. Yeah, I think they're trying to avoid those instant wins from a chain route or something with the new game, because from what I remember, or from what people have been talking about, they don't miss that stuff about fantasy. So we'll see exactly what you need to do to break a unit and have them run. But again, it sounds like you really got to do a lot, but it's still there. So
yes, a little more strategic in placing, because they said as they say, a more cunning player can use this mechanic to set up a better charge with another unit.
Yeah.
So interesting mechanic there. Magic is changing. It's no longer gonna be a magic phase. It's gonna be more reactionary now, using your spells whenever it's convenient, I guess. So kind of like how 40k is right now. So 40k, you still have still do magic in the command phase, but then you have like psychic attacks that do damage in the shooting phase. So it kind of borrows from there. It's not all going to be done in one magic phase like it used to be. Though I wonder if it's still going to be as fun as, I was going to say Perils of the Warp. That's not it. Miscasting. There you go.
Yeah, that definitely another contentious point from the community. A lot of people do miss that. A lot of people don't. I mean, magic was kind of insane in fantasy. An example would be if you have like a spell, like I think Pit of Shades, where you got to make initiative tests, and if we target a block of a unit that has really low initiative, I mean, yeah, they're being punished for having low initiative, but it's just kind of crazy that you just delete a unit with one spell. I think they're gonna try to avoid that and make it more another kind of I don't want to say support, but I think they're trying to make magic more of a, I guess not more, but less of a instantly deciding factor where again you cast a spell and then you win the game kind of thing, or you fail a miscast and your unit explodes. I mean, it's kind of fun in theory, but it gets old quick, honestly. Where you just do a magic combo. If you want to do that, you should just play like a card game. No pun intended, but yeah, I like what they're doing here, where they're making magic less decisive and more kind of supportive in your game plan rather than the focus of the game. Because in 7th and 8th, magic was pretty insane.
Oh, it was pretty insane if you were, high elves or lizardmen.
Yeah,
We just
or even like
knew
dark
everything.
elves or vampires had some crazy stuff, chaos. But yeah, in some armies, we didn't have magic. I mean, yeah, dwarves have magic
Runes.
resistance, but if you get hit by purple sun, it's just, well, that's it. So also the magic system was very complicated, where you gotta get some power dice and then roll the power dice, and you got dispel dice. Yeah, I think they're trying to avoid that stuff as well.
It was all dependent on the level of your wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Give you certain items, and then you could buy dispel scrolls if you wanted to get that instant dispel. Unless it was irresistible, then you couldn't do it. It was fun stuff. I like the swingy magic. Only because I played Tomb King, so my Magic was really bad.
Yeah, I remember playing a vampire's army with crazy magic, and it was like, yep, I just win them. I win the game because I had a good turn 1 magic or turn 2 magic phase. Like, all right.
So that's gonna be the new Magic system, and then that's pretty much all they give us. So, just a few more insight into Old World. A few changes, pretty notable changes that are gonna be happening. But again, I'm not that big. I know my old gaming group that was really big into fantasy. I'll have to get their thoughts on it. I don't know. Maybe they'll go back to it now that fantasy is a thing again. But that is
if
that.
people play it at my local game store, I'll probably pick it up. Just again, like having people to play is important. So
True. I might have to dust off my old Tomb Kings. Bring them back out.
yeah.
So that is Old World. Some other news, which I don't think was a big surprise. Some Space Marines are zooming off into the sunset. So, all the old Space Marine, well, not all the old Space Marines, some of the Space Marine old models are going into retirement. AKA, if you're a firstborn, you're going away. So they give us a list here of what's going away. You got the attack bike, the bike squad, scout bike, the land speeder variant, the stalker hunter, ironclad dreadnought, assault marines, company command, scouts, a librarian, tech marine, and the thunderfire cannon. All fading away, which makes sense on some of this stuff. Like the land speeders, we already got 3 new variants with the Primaris line that came out. The bike squad pretty much replaced with Outriders. The attack bike pretty much replaced with the ATV. Assault squad, I mean, we're gonna see that previewed soon whenever they decide to show the Space Marine new models. Librarian, we just got a new librarian, but it's contentious. Just an old model, most likely. New Tech Marine, probably will see that soon. And the Thunderfire Cannon was always an odd model to me, but it did see a lot of play back in 8th edition. It's given the effects that it could do. And the Scouts, I mean, are just very old models.
Yeah,
so
we're probably getting new scouts. I think we already have a new. I think we have Tech Marines and a Librarian already for Primaris. Assault squads are probably getting a unit. Command squad, I could see that being a thing. Land speeders, yep, like we have. Yeah, I mean this. It's one of those things where this is kind of inevitable. Old models will get replaced because not enough people are buying this to justify the shelf space. I mean, for me, I'd rather not even talking about like Primaris. I'd rather have them make more 30K and stock that on the shelves than a Mark 6 assault squad or Mark 7 assault squad or a Mark 7 command squad. I think it's time for just newer models.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's just phase out these kids. I mean, I've never, in all my time, I've never seen anyone run an ironclad dreadnought. I haven't seen scout bikes since 5th edition.
Yeah, I've seen ironclad dreadnought, I think, like twice. Yeah, it was very rare.
Scouts, just basic scouts. I haven't seen probably since 7th edition against like one guy. Even scouts with snipers, I've barely seen. Again, the Thunderfire Cannon was used quite a bit in 8th edition. I forget the combo that was going on, but pretty much it would just bombard you so you couldn't move anywhere. That was pretty annoying, but ever since 9th edition hasn't really seen much play. And Assault Squad, well, we already know we're getting Primary, or they're getting a new model. We already predicted that as going to be a thing that's going to happen. So, no real loss other than nostalgia for these models.
Yeah.
Again, like I've said, a lot of these are very old kits and drastically need to be updated, especially to fit the new quality of the models that GW are putting out with Space Marines. You know, the Terminators being the example right now, how beautiful they look coming out of that Leviathan box set. But yeah, that is that. So if you want to pick up some relics of the past, now's your chance. But we'll actually, these are probably already gone, but to be honest, because this came out like 2 weeks ago and we didn't do a cast back then, so these might already be gone, but we're just now talking about it. But that is that. Classic Space Marines fading out. I saw all those videos, clickbait videos, saying that Firstborns are dead. GW's phasing them out, which is true. GW is phasing them out, but you're still going to be able to use the models.
Yeah, and technically the new Terminators could be Firstborn, but I mean, eventually we're going to be at a time where it's all just going to be Primaris, and Firstborn belong in, well, Loyalist Firstborn will belong in the Horus Heresy, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. But yeah, just bring attention to that. Moving on to New Model Monday. We saw the Wilder Corps, which are a bunch of humans and their doggos going out for hunting. Since you're a human, City's a Sigmar man, what do you think of your hunters?
This is great. It's also a Warcry warband, so yeah, I am excited for this. I've been asking for this for a long time. I want a human Warcry warband, and here it is. Instant purchase for me. I wonder, it's probably going to be a 2-player box set, but whenever it comes out on its own, I do want to pick it up. I really like the designs. They're very unique. They fulfill the role of scouts. Although I do wish they had more melee guys. I keep complaining that Warcry warbands only have melee guys and no ranged guys, and this one seems to have all ranged guys. I mean, I guess the doggos are melee, but and there's a guy with a spear. But yeah.
I mean, besides like one of those guys, usually they have variants. I mean, given what was the elf one? The Shadow Council? Not Shadow Council. God damn it, what's the name? The one with the fire cavern. Those elves, those had variants. They had, well, I guess they were still technically range, but you know, they had hand crossbows, or they can shoot like little fireballs at you.
Right. Yeah. So
they're probably have variants on how to customize.
It would be nice if there was a variant that was a melee thing, but I don't know if that's going to be the case here. Either way, I like them, to be honest. I wish they were out now so I could just paint them now, but I gotta wait till whenever this comes out. But I'm very pleased.
Do you think it'll come out before the humans?
I don't know. It's a good question, depending on when the next Warcry release is and when Siege of Sigmar are coming out. So,
all right. Well, we'll have to wait and see then. But that is the New Model Monday. Again, not much going on. Moving on to the Warhammer 40k app. I just wanted to briefly talk about this. So, as is predictable, the Battleforge is currently free. I've been having fun playing with it, but end of August, it will be a Warhammer Plus app. So, all the features, the Battleforge tools will remain free. Keep up most up to date. The index, combat patrol rules, and core rules will remain accessible even without a subscription. So you'll still have some stuff there, but Everything else will be behind a paywall if you want to use it.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that the army builder function is behind a paywall, but I guess the points are free and you can do it by yourself technically. I think Battlescribe just released their updated kind of, well, sorry, their 10th edition file. So that's good, but yeah, it does kind of suck that the army builder is now behind the paywall, which I think was the best feature of this app was the army builder. It's very easy to use.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed because I was actually really enjoying the army builder here.
Yeah. Now I do have a Warhammer Plus subscription for the next 6 months or something, so I do have access to it. But it would be nice if it was free.
Yeah, but we all knew it was gonna be coming. There was gonna be some paywall, whether it was the scan the barcode or QR code on the back of your codex to get access to the rules, or just be thrown to the Warhammer Plus app, which I mean makes sense, right? They gotta keep the Warhammer Plus value up, so they gotta include the app. Inevitable, unfortunately, but I don't know. Maybe I'll go into it. Maybe I'll get a Warhammer Plus subscription. It all depends how the Battlescribe one looks like. That's that. And lastly, we have just 2 articles left to talk about, and it's Epic related. The first one here we have it teasing the tanks. So we got the Kratos heavy tank and the Bane blade and some rhinos. So
Yeah, this is one of those things where like it's news, not news to me because like of course these are gonna come out. You know, they mentioned in the stream that yeah, all the heresy models are gonna be in Epic. And it's like, yeah, well that was expected that we're getting Kratos's and Bane blades. Interesting Bane blade design though. That is probably
what's
it's a new
interesting
paint
about
scheme,
it?
but I think it's just a new paint scheme because I'm used to the boxy guard Bane blade, but I think it's the same design, just different paint job makes it look quite different to me. But yeah, then we got the rhinos, which we have in 30K. So yeah, again, this is news, not news to me because I expected this to happen. It kind of sucks that like, well, it doesn't suck, but I kind of feel that for GW, I just kind of expect things like, of course they're gonna release new Jade Stealers. I mean, it's cool, right? But yeah, of course, of course gonna happen. It is silly to me when people think like, oh, that's never gonna happen. Like, oh, we're not gonna get, you know, new lifters, or we're not gonna get new striking scorpions. It's like, come on, like, let's be real here. It's gonna get redone. So this is one of those things where like I expected this to happen because this is just logical for them to make a Kratos for Epic because it's in 30K.
Yeah, well, I
Now
mean,
it's cool to see, right? Don't get me wrong. It's cool to see.
I expect to see many things in Epic that are already in 30K, because that's the whole thing, right?
But not Xenos.
Why? Why, John? They already have the Epic models. They could just re-release the Epic models.
Because the old Epic models are of the different scale. They're too small.
True. Very true. And then the last article I have here is just how the new gameplay works. I'll leave this in your hands, John.
Yeah, this is actually news to me, which is great. So it kind of tells us how you're going to build an army, so I could visualize now what an army will look like, because you're essentially going to have your compulsory detachment, which it's kind of like in 30K where you have HQ, support slot, core choice, and then you could add on some other stuff like light armor, heavy armor, more core, transports, elites, and all that. And it gives you some rules with these formations. It reminds me of Titanicus, where there's formations there for your Titans, and you get benefits for having those formations, while I think in Epic they push it further because you need to have formations, while else in Titanicus you don't have to have a formation. Also talks about the turn structure, or actually before that, they do mention that there's going to be other formations as well, like armored companies for all tanks, or an aerial assault, which is a lot of flyers. So really going ham on this, which I really like. Then the turn structure, heck yeah, they got alternate activations. So it's kind of a copy paste almost to AT, where you issue orders secretly, and then you reveal initiative. Seal goes first, and then you alternate moving, alternate combat, and alternate. Well, actually, that's just it. Different from games like Star Wars Legion or Shatterpoint, where when you activate a unit, you do everything with that unit, and then you pass on. Well, in Epic, you move everything, and then so you take turns just moving, and after everything is moved, you take turns fighting or shooting, kind of like in how it works in 40k fight phase and the AOS fight phase. But happy to see that there are alternate activations. You don't just activate your whole army, and then the enemy activates their whole army. You actually gotta have that kind of interactive gameplay. Excuse me. And it kind of goes into some movement stuff you could do. So you could march, which is you double your move, but you can't shoot. And you can advance, such as moving and shooting, or you could also first fire, which is a copy paste from AT, where you don't move, but you get to shoot first, kind of like charging in 40k. You get to fight first before anyone else, but you alternate with the other fight first units. And then, yeah, it kind of just goes through detailing some of the game's, again, more gameplay mechanics. It gives us some stats as well for weapons. Interestingly, bolters need a 5 to hit. Predator cannons need a 5 to hit. Well, a volcano cannon will need a 2 to hit. I think it makes sense because there's no wound roll. It's just a hit roll. I believe in Old Epic also had a hit roll. And they do say how in melee you roll 2 dice per attack. So combat seems more dangerous than just throwing range firefight around. But yeah, I do like how there's no wound roll. Just keep it simple. Again, games like Legion, bolt action. I believe bolt action, you just roll the hit and they hit. No need to roll the wound. And it looks like they're keeping that here, which speeds up the gameplay, I would say. But yeah, this is cool stuff. Things I really like are the formation system and the alternate activations. So this just pushes my hype for Epic, and I have no doubt it's going to be a super fun game.
Yeah, well, I don't have much interest in it, which is what I say with a lot of the GW side games. I mean, Warcry was a surprise for me. I had no interest in the Epic because I don't want to paint a bunch of small little models. No matter how easy and fast it would be, I think I would have to see some actual gameplay of the game. And then maybe I would get some interest in it, but as of right now, I have zero interest in playing Epic.
That's fair.
But yeah, that is all the news that I have for GW. Did you have anything? Any Star Wars
Nope,
news?
nothing on the Star Wars front.
What are you talking about? Don't you know? The Ewoks came out. You can buy them.
They did come out. I hope they're OP. I hope Ewoks are the new like gatekeeping list. I mean, I can kind of see it because I think them and the triple ATST list are gonna be opposite sides of the skew, where you got triple ATSTs, so you need a lot of anti-armor. While Ewoks can bring like 60 bodies if they really wanted to. Most likely will bring like 50 bodies. And most armies don't have the tools to deal with 50 Ewoks, or just 50 units, especially if they have like low profile, which gives them super heavy cover. Well, they block 3 hits when you're shooting at them. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what effect they have on the meta, because again, like they don't do a lot of damage necessarily, but they do flood the board with bodies. And again, Legion isn't a game where it's easy to kill things like in 40k. It's quite hard to table someone in Legion, especially in the first like 3 turns. Usually you just table at turn 6. But yeah, I hope Ewoks are gonna be strong, because it's funny. And yep, that's all I could ask for.
Now I hear they can steal your weapon, special weapon. Is that true?
Yes, there is an Ewok upgrade where if you're in melee with someone, you kill one of your Ewoks and you remove, and you can do it only once. So you kill one of your Ewoks, but you remove a heavy weapon from the enemy. So let's say you had like a flamethrower, snow trooper, assuming you survived the flamethrower, which I don't know what's gonna happen when you're that close, but yeah, essentially you don't kill the flamethrower, you just take away the ability for that guy to use his flamethrower, which
So the
has
Ewok
more
doesn't
shield.
use the flamethrower at all?
What's up?
So the Ewok doesn't use the flamethrower.
No, that's too complicated,
Okay.
unfortunately. But yeah, so it's just a way of removing heavy or special weapons.
Can they steal a lightsaber?
No, because a lightsaber is not an upgrade. It's only for weapon upgrades
Oh,
that
okay.
are not unique. So the dark saber it cannot be used either because the dark saber is a unique upgrade.
Okay. Well, that's less fun than I was imagining.
Yeah,
I wanted to see, a bunch of Ewoks running around with lightsabers and stuff.
that would be kind of silly.
Yeah, but it'd be funny.
Yes, it would be funny.
Now you're just telling me they just sacrifice themselves just to destroy a weapon.
Yes.
Dang, what a shame. All right then. Well, what have you been up to?
I actually played a lot of Legion, but I also played my first game of 10th edition the other day.
Oh,
I played my Word Bearers, which I was running as Cast Space Marines. So I ran Master Possession with a 5-man squad of Possessed. I ran a squad of Havocs with 4 last cannons. I have two squads of Chaos Space Marines with a plasma gun. A unit of Chosen with all just cursed weapons, and then a unit or 2 Hell Brutes, one with a multi-melta and fist, and the other with 2 fists. And it's pretty fun. I played against Space Wolves. And holy crap, the 40k rules. I forgot how lethal that game can really be. Like, I lost a unit turn. The enemy turn 1, I got charged by Thunderwolves. My Chosen just evaporated. And then, like, turn 2, I destroyed the Thunderwolves with my Possessed. It's kind of crazy how there's, like, I don't know if you're aware, there's, like, a Chaos Space Marine stratagem. It costs 1 CP. And you pick a unit when they fight or shoot, and they reroll 1s to hit and to wound.
yep.
But if they're undivided, they reroll everything, and I'm like, holy cow, okay, that's really strong. So, yeah, it was just if I did get the win by tabling like turn 3 or turn 4, because yeah, he did run a melee army, and I remember fighting against Ragnar. I charged his squad. It was Ragnar and 15 Blood Claws versus my squad of Possess, and I activated that stratagem, and yeah, just devastating
Goodbye,
wounds.
claws.
What's up?
Say goodbye, claws.
Yeah, goodbye claws for real. Just evaporated and did enough damage for Logan to just fail his invulnerable saves because he had to make like 10 of them or something after going through it was in one attack. I think I hit everything, and they have this in the dark packs. I got sustained hits, so I explode 6s re-rolling. So yeah, the Possessor nasty. I'm pretty happy, but they did get destroyed by some Terminators. But again, I did get the win because I was eventually. So what happened was after his Terminators wiped my Possessed, he only had his Captain left. Everything else had died, and then next I just shot him with my last cannons, and that was the game.
Now, were you playing tactical or fixed missions?
We were playing the book mission.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were just learning the game. But it was fun. I mean, 40k is still 40k. It's still I go, you go. Same with Heresy, but yeah, I'm glad I could just use my 30k word bearers as a 40k army. So that definitely makes it more appealing to play. I mean, yeah, I also have my Black Templars, to be fair. I'm also kind of slowly working on my Red Scorpions, but that army I'm taking my time with. But I mean, yeah, New 40k is, I think it's just more 40k, which if you like it, then that's good.
Let's wait for the books to come out. The
Yeah,
codexes
right.
come out, and everything gets more complicated.
There you go.
That's cool.
Right now, for the hobby side, I'm working on. So I just finished painting my Shatterpoint squad, my Inquisitors Invader. Now I'm working on Blizzard Force, so I'm gonna try to, now that Blizzard Force is more balanced, I'm gonna try to play them with Commander Vader. So I'm painting right now. I'm painting my 8 speeder bikes and 8 snow troopers.
Nice. Yeah, I too played some 40K. I played against some blueberries with my Eldar
What are
and
blueberries?
Ultramarines.
Oh, got it.
And yeah, it did go well for the Ultramarines. By turn 2, I had already destroyed 98% of his army.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, it was bad. So, uh, by the start of turn 3, we pretty much just called the game there. But yeah, Eldar pretty nasty though. From what I hear, a big tournament happened and Necrons took the win. So, congrats to Necrons. Doing a fine job out there, winning. In terms of hobbying, I have completed about 80% of the Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarter,
Nice.
as in built. I started
Nice.
painting a little bit of them, but yeah, I'm almost done with that. In the long journey of painting it all, which thank God they're not as detailed as GW models, but still gonna take a while.
I can imagine.
But yeah, that's going on. The Kickstarter, the newest one's already finished, so I'm already pledged to that. Wait another 4 years for that to come out, so everything's going good. The only thing that is terrible right now is that the heat.
Oh yeah.
The heat is unbearable. I do not
Makes
like
it hard
it.
to game outside.
Now, well, the bad thing about the valley is, you got mosquitoes out there, so I'm
That's
gonna have to start wearing
true.
some long pants in the heat. Not a good combo.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's that. So just enjoying, just getting the hobbying done. Excited year. And then I'm just hoping, I'm praying to the GW gods that we get an updated Corendris model.
Probably. It's gonna happen
It's gonna
probably in
happen eventually.
2 years, I hope.
It's gonna
Especially
happen
if the
eventually.
rumors to where Striking Scorpions are gonna be the next kill team. I think that would be a cool natural progression there.
That's all I'm hoping for. That's all I want. I love my Corendris model, but it's so old.
Yeah, it's a good thing to want.
And that's the only thing I want. But all right then. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it.
All right then. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who made it to the end of this podcast, and we'll see you all next time.
Later, everyone.